Today we're going to talk about how to inspire change by Wise Solutions. Changing behaviours of organisations and people is a modern problem. Technology is advancing rapidly, and if businesses and people aren't able to control and inspire change, they will fall behind. So why is inspiring change so important? Change is a wide concept, so let's break it down. Imagine you're part of an old manufacturing business and you've got guys working for you who've been in this business for 20 or 30 years. They're the experts in the field, but maybe not in the modern ways that businesses are changing. By inspiring and managing change, we're able to ensure that these people's knowledge is not lost, and that yours and your business's ideas for growth go unhindered. Let's take a look at one of the most heavily utilized ways of inspiring change that we see every day: threat. Threats are everywhere. Don't eat junk food, don't drink, don't cycle without a helmet, don't take drugs, don't. The list goes on. Now you know, and I know, that all these things and more that we're warned against still happen every single day, despite the threat of injury or illness or something bad happening in the future. Let's take a look at an example of threat trying to drive change and why it fails. Using warnings and disturbing images, health organizations have tried to stop people smoking. The images and warnings are made to scare the smoker into not wanting to smoke. What they actually cause is avoidant behaviour, which results in smokers no more likely to quit than before, and in some cases less likely. Avoidant behaviour is where the smoker simply avoids the problem rather than tackling it, and over time they become immune to the effect of these warnings, and that's where they can become even more likely to not quit. They are now hardened against these warnings due to exposure, and begin to think things like, "This says all these terrible things will happen to me if I carry on smoking, but my dad smoked until he was 90 and he was fine." The smoker starts to build up walls of resilience to the change that ultimately would be good for them, and it's the threat that has created this defensive and avoidant behaviour that restricts the very change it was created for. Now let's look at some techniques that do work. The first is visual management, the second, social pressure, the third, short-term returns. To explain these concepts, let's look at a case study which implemented all of them. Medical professionals are supposed to wash their hands before and after entering a patient's room every single time. At the start of the study, the only inspiration to do so was the threat of illness and disease should they not comply. Adherence was 20%. As a way to remedy this, the hospital did something very clever. They decided to install a screen above where the staff washed their hands, which recorded their compliance. On this screen, it displayed their personal adherence for the week, which showed green if above target and red if below. It also showed their score go up each time they washed their hands and compared this score to their colleagues. So, not only was there visual instant feedback for good behaviour, it also created social pressure by allowing them to see what others were doing and compare themselves. Humans are naturally competitive creatures, and it is one of the biggest factors to leverage when creating a change in behaviour. So what happened after this screen was installed? Adherence quickly grew to 95%. Let's recap. Threats don't inspire change. Visually rewarding good behaviours and comparing them to others does. So what I want you to do now is to try and think where these techniques could be used in your life or in your business, and ask yourself, how can I benefit from and start leading change? Thank you for taking the time to listen today. If you enjoyed the content, please like and subscribe for more. Yours, Daniel.